Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us. And as the Secretary of State in her intervention, she said that cybersecurity is a key element, and we have very many challenges ahead of us. And for that, private public cooperation is a key point and paramount, and we have to promote innovation, provide support, promote training and talent through this public-private cooperation and under the umbrella of the National Council of Security. We will analyze this first year of the forum and other aspects of interest for cybersecurity in Spain. And first of all, although all the attendees have the context already, but it would be interesting to discuss the main challenges that you find from each of your institutions and in your daily work. General, well, we live in a very highly changing world, as changing that in cyberspace everything gets accelerated constantly. We are already developing 5G technologies, the fifth generation telecommunications. This will be a turning point, nothing to do with when we went from 3G to 4G. This will be a totally disruptive event for society as a whole, and also disruptive for security. We are entering a risk area which is particularly complicated to resolve, where the control of data will be paramount. And today, many of the cyber attacks are seeking data, either encrypting data with ransomware or stealing data, or at the end of the day, controlling through the new networks what we will witness in future, controlling actions and business activities, industrial activities, activities of the daily life, etc. So we are entering a totally new world where security will have to get its acts together. Thank you, General Luis. What are the challenges in your institution? The General just mentioned data, 5G, as one of the main challenges. Well, for us, the most important challenges that we will need to face in the next 4 to 5 years will include the implementation of the new national security scheme, which will be approved and passed by the government shortly, establishing a national network of cybersecurity operational centers, since this is one of the initiatives that are included in the European cybersecurity strategy, and this is something that the European Commission is actually placing the focus on, the generation of these capacities and coordinating such capacities. For us, it is also important to mention the National Platform for Incident Communication. This is an important challenge for the future. We will have to set it up to make it work, and this is where we will see clearly whether we are capable of kicking off public-private cooperation, and finally to continue to increase detection and surveillance capacities. So these are the main challenges and what we will be working on in the coming years. Yes, indeed. Rafael, more challenges from the cyberspace. Many challenges, I suppose. Yes, indeed. Well, in our area, our mission for defense of the Ministry of Defense networks, this new situation created by COVID has increased the surface, the exposure, if you like, so we need to increase our network. So due to the specificities of the ministry, the challenges that we see for the short future are basically the same that we had so far. So for us, this defense is based on preventing those users who want to steal data from us, which are highly sensitive. So spying on our networks is in its own right a challenge. even more so when we are increasingly exposed. So the networks that we have connected to the internet platforms, this is where we have to really work and make the greatest effort, because those networks that are not connected are not so much exposed and are therefore easier to defend. So where we have to focus is those networks that are specifically connected to the external internet, and we will try to avoid for those classified information to be exposed to unwelcome users. Guillermo, what are the challenges at your institution? Good morning. Well, from our office, as has already been mentioned, we have been observing that the only constant thing that we can mention today is change. We are immersed in a setting of cybersecurity and cyber threats in a VUCA environment. This was first coined by the Americans, where we have high volatility, high uncertainty, complexity, and a very changing scenario. So we have a good starting point, as has already been mentioned. Spain is ranking 4 or 5 internationally, according to the Telecommunications Agency of the UN. However, from the Ministry of the Interior, we have been able to observe how there has been an increase on attack on essential service providers and cyber attacks, which in 2016 was only 4.6%. In 2020, we have seen how this has increased to 16.4%. So cyber criminals are using cyberspace, particularly as a means for committing their crimes. In this regard, the Spanish Ministry of the Interior have been specific actions using specialized units and geared towards the youth and the elderly people with different programs in schools, and we have been creating a strategic cybercrime program which will last 4 years. And as a challenge, as we can see in Spain, we have an interinstitutional environment where cybersecurity is something totally overreaching, and we need to change the paradigm from a need to know to a need to share. So this is just by way of introduction. Yes, sharing is something that we are doing here. Isn't it true, Rosa? Thank you for being here. What are the challenges from INCIBE? Thank you. It is nice to be here and to meet face to face. It is true that in INCIBE we share the challenges that have already been mentioned, and just to give you some more information, let me say that in INCIBE we have 2 main challenges. Then in the following panel we will talk about the INCIBE strategic plan. But one important challenge is that, well, we are all very aware and we know the relevance of cybersecurity, but INCIBE has the challenge of transferring this knowledge to the people, the citizens, the SMEs, and make them aware about the need to be safe and secured and cyber protected. Sometimes we are not fully aware of the high risk that has grown exponentially, and these small companies, these small actions are not known to the average citizen. So we have the challenge of transmitting the relevance across the people, and we also want to capitalize this sovereignty in INCIBE. In the coming years, we have a real challenge in supporting the industry. Today, we have 35 companies at the exhibition center, and in INCIBE they can find a partner, an ally, in order to make their business grow. And we will listen to them, we will listen to their needs, and we can be the execution arm from the Secretary of State in order to try and support these businesses with initiatives that can create the change that is so needed. So here we are to help you all. Well, thank you all for this overview of the challenges that the different institutions have ahead of them.
Luis, there's another challenge. How do we integrate all those factors related to national security to contribute to the defense in face of all those challenges? Yes, well, I think there are already 3 instruments that are already ongoing that will fulfill the role of fostering communication and cooperation in the face of cybersecurity. I'm going to mention them, although they're very well known. The forum CCN-CERT, which includes all the centers in public and private in Spain. It's a very active forum where there are chats that are always very active in communication. Then the national platform of communication of incidents, which is something that comes from the European directive. And it is the responsibility of my institution and the CCN to put that in motion. And then we want to build a national network of SOC, of cybersecurity centers, where the day-to-day business and activity of cybersecurity will take place. Yes, there is a key element that has already been mentioned, the collaboration. Collaboration is key, and as a proof of that, we have the National Forum of Cybersecurity. General, what's your assessment of that forum? Well, the forum is a mandate of the National Strategy of Cybersecurity of 2019, sorry, and in a year it is already bearing fruit, and all of us here are very happy with the results so far. We have 16 large organizations of the civil society represented ranging from universities, business organizations, etc. And in a week or so, or by the end of November, a book is going to be published, is going to be printed next week about the new activities and studies that experts have carried out. It's been the altruistic participation and collaboration of 117 experts in 74 organizations, working on subjects such as the culture of cybersecurity, on the industrial development and I+D in the area of cybersecurity, or also a scheme of reference of experts in cybersecurity. These 3 groups have already handed in their first work, but they're still working, and there are some other groups working on cyber defense, and there is also another group working on the regulation. Do we have the legal regulation? Are we lacking somewhere in terms of cybersecurity? A month ago, approximately, the Forum of United States of Security was presented. Spain was 1 year ahead of that, and I can say that the forum is not getting as much results as ours. So, Rosa, After the setting up of this forum, how do you assess this cooperation? Well, we are all very happy about the results, as the General was saying. It is also true that this is a very critical sector. So this cooperation is the place and the means to communicate and to be and to listen. We have been in contact with the university. That's very needed, and that has helped us to reach many different places and organizations. I always thank all those who have worked, both directly and indirectly, to make the forum possible and a reality. So it's only 1 year old, but it's going to be a place where we can all listen to others and communicate and foster the promotion of Spain and cybersecurity in Spain. So we are very happy. But this has just begun. Yes, indeed, there is a lot of work ahead of us. Rafael, I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think that other ways of collaboration need to be implemented on top of the existing ones? Yes, well, I think the forum is a magnificent forum where we can exchange and do that work that you have mentioned. But from all the institutions, we need some ongoing programs, and we don't need to leave those. We need to integrate them. We have agreements with universities in I+D+I, and from our point of view, what we miss a bit is some effort on the side of education. The Secretary of State, said that the 30 million jobs will be created in the area of cybersecurity. Well, but if we have that need, we need to make an effort, because the companies are going to need that training. They have jobs, and they are going to need people. And the same goes for institutions. From our point of view, and this is not the first time that I say it, we should make an extra effort to train those that we are going to need. Not all of them need to be engineers. No, it's not only university. It's the educational system in general, at all levels. And so I think we should foster, I don't know if from the forum of the administration of our institutions, to push for this need to have employees able to face the challenges. Training, knowledge. Guillermo, in what way has the work of the forum to promote cybersecurity among citizens? Well, the forum, as you said, is a great example of cooperation, private and public, and one of the products that the book on cybersecurity culture is going to present is a co-responsibility on the side of citizens. We are in October, and this is the month of cybersecurity in Europe. And the motto of this year is think before click. So the citizen has to be a man responsible for cybersecurity as well. And also there's a pillar in the cybersecurity national strategy. Public-private cooperation is bearing fruit, and one of the key elements there is citizenship. So we are all promoting efforts and pushing in the same way. So in what way has the forum helped the objectives? Well, the National Cybersecurity Initiative has 5 main objectives with 7 action lines. There are 65 measures. 3 of the main objectives is what the forum is contributing to. And more precisely, also on 3 main lines. One of them is to promote the culture of cybersecurity. That's hacker, the cyber criminal, enters the institution or the company via the weakest spot, and that's the employee. And then once inside, they look for admin privileges, but the first door is citizen conscience and awareness. And we're working a lot on cybersecurity culture. And that is going to contribute as well to the new plan of national security. We are working with the Ministry of Education, and one of the main topics there is going to be cybersecurity. And Gerald was referring earlier to the importance of training. So one of the works carried out by the forum is to identify where we are lacking, where we need to improve. The forum works for the world of cybersecurity, where we identify, and in the forum, most of them belong to the civil society, to the structure of the state. We identify common needs. And once those needs are identified, we see what we can do together to improve those issues. So there is a lack of training in cybersecurity, not only in Spain, in Europe in general. There's a study going on revolving around the training that we are giving to our students in terms of cybersecurity. We have great engineers, computer engineers, telecommunications, in all those engineers related to cybersecurity. But we have we're lacking in cybersecurity specifically. So we need to concentrate on improving that field. I think we are on the right way. The Secretary of State was saying that we rank 5th in the world ranking, and is ranking that identifies a lot of points. And one of the good things about Spain is the number of CCNs, and so cybersecurity centers. And we are a very decentralized country, but we are very coordinated. A very useful coordination structure that is bearing fruit. And also, there are many initiatives going on to promote cybersecurity. INCIBE plays a crucial role here, and I would like to congratulate you, not only for this event, but also for your relationship with the world of business, that we need to foster even more via television ads, etc. But I would like to highlight coordination and public-private coordination, and this is what the Forum on National Cybersecurity is contributing to. So the national plan of cybersecurity is going to be approved very soon. The national plan is so ambitious that out of the more than 200 measures, there's financing. My colleagues keep me honest here. There's only financing for 60%. But the plan is going to be approved probably next month by the National Security Defense Council. So the strategy on cybersecurity, we ran tests and is examined every year, but I think we're doing well. Thanks very much, General. Very interesting, Rosa. So the General was mentioning a very important part of these cooperation companies. What are the challenges for companies? Yes, we referred to that earlier. One of the objectives of INCIBE is to increase the capacities of companies in the Spanish industrial fabric. So we need via television and advertising, we need to make companies aware of the need to invest in cybersecurity. It's because if I want to differentiate myself from the competition, well, I can be cyber secure. I need to be able to guarantee my client that very needed cybersecurity, and that is where we are working on. We are linking offer and demand because we have very great resources in Spain. Because yes, there is a talent problem. Small companies cannot afford to have employees dedicated to this field, and we trust that one solution for small companies is like a virtual expert to provide service to this company. Companies don't need a consultant that goes to the company and do this work. They need something easier, and they need to focus on concentrating. They need to focus on creating a business and wealth. Yeah, in the case of administration and public administration, what are the challenges in terms of digitalization? Well, one of the most important challenges for us, as I mentioned before, is the implementation of the national plan of cybersecurity. But this means two things: to be able to count on people and to have financing. And when I talk about people, I mean I refer to specialists, people who are dedicated to cybersecurity in ministries, organizations, etc. So, and when I talk about budget, I'm also talking about other things. In the next 3-4 years, we're going to use the funds, the European funds of recovery, but the day after, we will have a problem because some very necessary investments will be made, but the day after, when those investments and that financing is gone, we're going to have a problem. So we will need more financing in the years to come. And that's a challenge and an effort. how we are going to work after these 3-4 years. Yes, Guillermo, in order to extend a bit, how is the protection evolving? Well, protection not only affects infrastructure, but also services providers. This comes from Europe with the INS directive that is going to be improved with a new directive, NIS 2. It involves integral security, and it doesn't only protect the infrastructure, but also the supply chain, and also sectors that were maybe a bit overlooked in the past, as the health sector or food sector, that those sectors are represented in the new initiative and directive. Rafael, we've seen many sophisticated attacks by states. You were referring earlier to this data. How are we facing these challenges? Well, the challenges we are facing, the one of the supply chain has already been mentioned, and it's something that we are seeing more increasingly. And this is more and more difficult, because if we tend to full digitalization of everything, that's where we are going, and we are going to open the exposure area. Another challenge is our own employees, the awareness of our own employees, not those who try to come in from outside, but the user of a system needs to be aware of what they are doing. Some say that the most dangerous place in the cyber world is between the chair and the desk. So that's where we need to concentrate our efforts on. And then there's another challenge. We don't talk about the technology of operation. So this is going to be a challenge to be able to control information. We're talking about the digital twins. A physical ship will have a digital twin somewhere. Yes, of course, there are many challenges, but there are also solutions and many strengths. General, what are the strengths of Spain to face all these challenges? What are the measures that are being put in motion? Well, in Spain, we tend to criticize ourselves. In cybersecurity, we shouldn't. We need to be proud. Spain is the first country in Europe in terms of optic fiber, and second in the world. So we have resources, and we are in a position to advance. It is true that we need to work on cybersecurity, but we are also doing well in cybersecurity. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, the Secretary of State was saying that we ranked 5th, but I would like to correct the Secretary of State, but I think we are 4th. But In terms of centers of cybersecurity, we have 42 centers, more than France or Germany. This is, well, but not definitive, because, for instance, the British are ahead of us. There's the United States, the United Kingdom, Estonia, and then Spain. So that's a strength. Why are we there? Because we are very well organized. And Spain is a very decentralized country. We have good regulation. There is room for improvement, of course, because regulation always goes behind facts. And maybe Miguel Ángel later on will be able to illuminate us on this. But 5G is going to be really important, and the 5G Act is getting ready now. These are strengths that we have, and we have an exemplary private-public communication, not only the national forums, all the rest, and the cooperation of the businesses with institutions. And from that point, from that starting point, we need to keep on working. A few years ago, we were ranking 19th, and now we are 4th. This is the result of the work of many of us, both on the side of the public administration, but also institutions and businesses and education. Luis, in the case of that protection for public entities, what are the keys to strengthen that defense? Well, this year has been a very intense year. We have had some incidents, some of them serious, and some have been on the news. There are many factors that come into play in one of these, in one incident. There are 4 factors. We need trained people. We need people trained on cybersecurity on all levels, from the top management to the most specialized employee. Second key is we need to know what is happening on our networks. So we need to be able to identify and monitor not only abroad, but also in a domestic environment. So now we are very interconnected. So if a minister goes down, it will affect others too, even if the incident is not on their network. So we need to know what's happening on the networks. Third factor is to have an organizational structure that enables you to manage an incident at all levels, not only in the on the technical level, but also on the public level. And that structure needs to be linked, and need to have measures and procedures to avoid from it getting worse. And last but not least, communication. Communication is a crucial factor when a cyber incident happens. Yes, visibility, Rafael. In the case of capabilities of cybersecurity and defense, what are the strengths? Yes, I think we have evolved on a par with the rest of the administration. But as Luis was saying, created the Joint Command on Cybersecurity, which meant a lot of progress. And so we are advancing on intelligence. If we want to try to keep ahead of the bad guys and not lag behind, we need to make an effort, and I don't think we are doing that badly. We need to work on intelligence, and we need to be able to anticipate the challenges. We need to be able to be ready before we are forced to defend ourselves. And on that point, cooperation with businesses is key too. So we need to invest and make an effort on intelligence and try to keep our eyes on the ball and be ready. We have a lot of talent. We wouldn't like that talent to leave and go abroad. Would like to keep that talent, not for us specifically, but for everyone, for institutions, companies, businesses, etc. So that defense in the face of attacks also involves having the right people here. Yes, what is clear is that there is cooperation and coordination, and many steps are being taken. You were talking about anticipating earlier. Do we have enough mechanisms of response? How do you assess that this point? Well, as has already been mentioned, we have a challenge ahead of us. The National Plan on Cybersecurity has highlighted the culture of prevention. We need to train security forces at all levels to be able to give first response. Training on intelligence has already been mentioned, and the need to share to be able to tackle a threat, and also the coordination, both nationally and internationally, and also contributing to a national and international regulation to be able to have the legal tools to face the challenges. And there's an agenda point missing, the industry of cybersecurity. They're present here. What can we do to keep on fostering and promoting a cybersecurity industry? Yes, we are here. This event is meant for the industry, and we are here to support the industry. This is the place where we have listened to each other, and we are communicating. We need to act. We have been talking about needs and challenges, so now we need to execute. Later on in the panel, we'll talk about the objectives of INCIBE. These 2 days we're going to be here. If you stay for the event on the 3rd day, it will be 3 days. So we are still here to put actions in motion that provide results and to strengthen the industry. We are here for you, so we are going to make the use of this environment. Yes, a few seconds still to spare, so I wouldn't like to miss the opportunity to send a message for the future, and hopefully also a positive message. The message is that we need to work together. Industry, universities, professional education. There are many ways already ongoing and in motion. I'm going to give you a piece of data. Last year, there were more than 80,000 attacks against the administration. Out of those, 50-something were critical. We all remember the attack against the CEPE. INCIBE receives the cyber attacks, the attacks on the industry. Rosa, if I remember well, last year, INCIBE declared 130-something thousand. I'm going to send a message. I think there are many attacks that are not declared, they're not disclosed, because that helps everyone to put in place methodologies to fight the attacks and counteract those attacks and even prevent them. So I think it is important that companies are aware that those cyber attacks need to be disclosed, that you should never pay if you have a ransomware attack. You don't have to pay because that is feeding the beast. So that is the message that I would send. Thanks very much. Luis, your message to finalize. Yes. Well, a positive message I would like to send. It's a vibrant sector. The challenges are spectacular. There is work for the next 50 or 100 years. So the positive is, the message is positive. There are many incidents, many attacks, but a lot of things are being done. Thank you. There's one technological challenge that involves incorporating AI to our capacities of monitoring. I could give you like more than a dozen of other challenges. Yes, many years and a lot of work. Rafael, please. Yes. Yes, I would also like to send a positive message. We said that we need the funding, but in spite of that, we need to focus on people. We need to make people aware, both on the public administration sector and on the business sector. If the person understands how things work, things will improve. So I'm going to repeat something that has already been said. Spanish people are good at this. We are not very good salespeople of ourselves, but we're able to do this, and we are good at this. We should concentrate on people. That is the only way to keep on going and progressing. Yes, thank you. Guillermo, please. Yes. So there are two challenges. On the one side, the cooperation with the administration, and also the private-public cooperation. We are increasingly interconnected, and solutions need to be global. So future is voluntary, is not determined. So we have the possibility to build the future. So the initiatives that consume a lot of funding, well, we need to select where we want to work on in order for everyone to have the best cybersecurity. Thanks very much. Rosa, your message? Yes, yeah, I'd like to mention the motto again, new visions. We are together here. We're going to continue together with all of you, so this has just started. Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone. General, Rosa, Luis, Rafael. Please, a round of applause for all of them. Thanks very much.